What's up, everybody? I'm Damon. This is Brandon. And
Hey.
we're just talking about Dark Souls.
We are.
You know,
we were
Brandon,
just talking.
You know, what started as sort of a cult favorite with Demon Souls has grown into this gigantic AAA franchise. Dark Souls is one of the most popular game series on IGN today.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
That's a great question because it's kind of a long story. To be as succinct as possible, the Souls series really started with Demon Souls, which came out back in 2009 for the PS3. Originally, it was only going to be released in Japan. Sony had no intention of bringing it anywhere else. But I think the real champion of the Souls series has always been the people who love it, who play it, and so word of mouth really helped bring the Demon Souls series outside of Japan. Atlas picked it up and brought it to North America. Bandai Namco brought it to Europe. You know, flash forward to 2 years later, From Software is now working directly with Bandai Namco to bring this new game, the spiritual successor to it, Dark Souls, to bring it to multi-platform worldwide. So that's really sort of like the beginning of the Dark Souls series as we know it. Because I think Dark Souls 1 is really where that series kind of took off for a wide audience, both platforms rather than just a Sony console exclusive. Right. So over the years, the Souls series has really done better every single iteration. Dark Souls 1, way better than Demon Souls. Dark Souls 2 sold much larger than Dark Souls 1. And now here we are on the cusp of Dark Souls 3. It just came out.
Yeah, we expect it to do very well.
Yeah, I think it's already selling very, very well.
These games are known for their difficulty, but people like that about them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's in response to at least a perception that video games, as they aim for an ever broader audience, are sort of being maybe I don't know if dumbed down is the right word, but diluted, made, a lot of hand-holding, trying to ease the player into the game. But Dark Souls games are like, nope, this game is hard, prepare to die.
I think that's what it is. I mean, why word of mouth works so well with Dark Souls is because what it does is sort of tap into that core audience that really feels only the best can beat this game. Oh, this is a challenge. Only the really gifted, I guess, gamers you would want to call it, can get through a Souls game. So what happens is friends hear, oh, this game is incredibly hard, but I beat it and it was the most rewarding thing that I've done, and that sort of in turn sells another copy, right? So as players are sort of undertaking this big challenge and talking about it and spreading that word of mouth, I think that core gamer philosophy that this is incredibly hard sort of goads people into wanting to play it and beat it for themselves.
Well, now Dark Souls 3 is supposed to be the last game in the series.
Supposed to.
But it would be insane for something this popular to just end. So what happens next for the series?
It's weird. There are kind of conflicting sort of quotes online right now about it, and I can't remember which one's the most recent, but they're very close to each other. So, Miyazaki, the game director, said that Dark Souls 3 would be the end of the tale or the story, but in other quotes he has said that Dark Souls 3 is more of a turning point. Dark Souls 3 is the last game that From Software was prototyping or in development when Miyazaki took over as studio president. So whether or not that means it's the last game in this particular Souls tale, right? The world of Lordran and all that, or it just means that, they're going to start pivoting into something else. Maybe Souls becomes set in the sci-fi. Maybe Souls is set in another sort of thematically distinct environment. With all of From Software's properties, Demon Souls being in its world, Dark Souls being now in its world, and Bloodborne really sort of being in its own kind of take on the same thing. They all use the same mechanics, but the worlds are very, very different.
Sure. Well, thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see Dark Souls go next? Let us know in the comments. And for more on Dark Souls, stay tuned to IGN.